What am I going to do now when the rubber meets the road? Can I trust God? Like, can he bring good out of a horrible, horrible time?
I remember just feeling so ignored by God.
I wanted to run. I just wanted to get away from it all.
I think the hardest part was it was out of my control and out of my hands.
I mean, this is where my boat completely lost the rudder, the sail, everything. I mean, I just didn't know who God was.
I can remember just laying myself out on my living room floor and just telling God to take over.
It's like, it felt like gravel in my mouth. It felt like I cried out to God and there were walls and I could shout out to him and he did not hear me.
I knew, even though we were wallowing in sorrow, that God was there.
No matter how bad things get in my life, he is gonna be there and he will not abandon me.
There's forgiveness, and there's love, and there's mercy.
Well, there's great sorrow. There's tremendous release. She's at peace, at rest, and healed.
Welcome to Fault Lines, a study of growth, faith, and maturity, and how these things happen in the most difficult seasons of our life. Some years ago, I sat down to create a timeline of my own life to talk about or look at the times when I seemed to grow the most, times when I became more generous or more compassionate or more sensitive or stronger in my resistance to sin. And I noticed an almost invisible hand that seemed to be guiding me through those seasons of my life. I didn't always know that it was there, but in retrospect, I could see that it was. About this time, I noticed something else, that the seasons when I grew the most were the hardest seasons. It was the times when things were most unfair, times that I wanted to get out of as quickly as I could. Even though I would have told you as a young man that I wanted to grow spiritually, I looked back and saw that I would have voted against every one of those times, not because I didn't want to grow, but because I am naturally adverse to pain. You might be the same way. You might be in one of those seasons right now that you really want to get out of or get through so you can get back to growing. Maybe these are the seasons when you are supposed to grow. Maybe these are the ones that are hard and unfair and the most unwelcome, but these are the times when God is doing something unique in your life. You know, sometimes we think about growth as all the things that we're supposed to do. But in the Bible, growth occurs because of the life that is in us. I know that seems obvious because when we think about growing in the physical world, we talk about genetics and we say, I'm as tall as I'm supposed to be because it's in my genetics. But somehow when we get into the spiritual world, that doesn't translate. We always talk about things that we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to change, and what we're supposed to stop before we're able to grow. In reality, we grow because of the life of God that is in us. I'm confident of this, said Paul, that he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it until the day of Christ Jesus in Philippians chapter 1. We are God's workmanship, created unto good works, which God prepared us in advance to do in Ephesians chapter 2. We could give many, many more instances of this, but the Bible has a clear record that we grow because of the life that is in us. Yet when we get into small groups or Sunday school classes like this one, all of the talk seems to be about what we're supposed to do and not what God is doing. So I think the place to start when we talk about growth is to give God the credit that he has coming. Maybe someday you'll want to take a look at your own life. Sit down with a friend. Maybe make a timeline of the seasons in your life, how you changed and how God grew you in those seasons. And maybe you'll notice some of the same things that I did. This much is for sure. If the Spirit of God is in you, then you are wired to grow. You may not be growing as much as you like, or you may not even think you're growing at all, but if you have the life of God in you, you are. And God will not stop until one day you are transformed into the image of Jesus Christ.